You're literally getting the close-up of all close-ups right now. I look like an egg.
We could literally watch Kristen chain smoke cigarettes for freaking hours.
All right, guys. Hi, welcome back. How are you? Welcome back to my channel. If you were new here, my name is Sam. I'm a pop culture commentary channel, but I also love to talk about Vanderpump Rules. Okay, I love a little recap, and you guys do too, apparently. So you better be liking and sharing this crap. Okay, comment down below. Get the algorithm spitting stuff out. Okay, because season 5, baby, we're moving and grooving. All right. Last time we chatted, we talked about Schwartzy asking Ariana to be a groomsman, which was insanely stupid because Katie specifically didn't want her to be a bridesmaid. So why would you make her a groomsman? AKA another example of Schwartz not listening to Katie at all and being a complete buffoon idiot. Oh, also, if you guys don't know right now, you guys want me to spit out these videos? Guess what I'm doing? Or actually, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not editing at all. Okay? I'm only putting in like before clip, after clip, like beginning and maybe like something in the middle if I'm feeling fancy and free. But there's no editing. So you guys are getting the raw deal right now, okay? So next what was up was Gigi and James start fighting in the middle of the restaurant at Sir, and LVP catches this and decides to talk to James about what's going on, and he ends up calling her a little bitch, which is so funny to me. And he goes, the girls are all thirsty and they need a drink. They need a drink. Sir, what are we drinking out of, a sippy cup? No one wants to drink out of the James cup, okay? LVP tells James he is not Calvin Harris. You know, Calvin Harris. And to shut up and go back to work. He then proceeds to go over to the bar that Tom Sandoval is working at and ask for a shot. And you can tell like Sandoval's kind of like a little weary about giving him a shot, but at the same time it's so stupid that he is going to. Well, Lisa catches that happening, and her and Ken get extremely pissed off at both James and Sandoval. And Lisa's like, why are you doing that? Like, what? Like, he has a problem, clearly. Like, why are you doing that? He's like, oh, well, you know, like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just one, like, he's doing great. It's like, he's not doing great. He's a complete loser. So Ken and Lisa get into an argument with James, and Ken gets extremely pissed. And James is like kind of sassing back and forth, and especially sassing Lisa. And we all know Ken does not like it when you are mean to his queen, okay? His icon, his legend, his little British little teacup. And he goes, listen, you little fucker, I'll knock your spark right out. If you disrespect Lisa like that, it'll be another thing. And then James is like, oh, Lisa, Ken, no. He's like crying, like, I'm afraid, it's scaring me. He was acting like a little bitch. It was really, really funny. And James is drunk crying, and Lisa keeps saying, see, Ken, this is what I deal with, Ken. See, Ken, this is what I deal with. It's really interesting when she's around Ken how she kind of stands back and lets Ken take the show, but when Ken's not there, she definitely can stand up for herself. But it was really funny for her to kind of be like, Ken, see what he's doing to me? See what he's doing? Get him. The next day, James ends up going to Lisa's house to talk about his behavior and kind of what's been going on. And Lisa ends up firing James from Sir and Pump, and he's not allowed to even come to the restaurants. No, let alone he can't work there. He can't come there either, because every time he comes to one of the restaurants, like, shit travels with him essentially, aka Kristen trying to destroy his life. James breaks down about his drinking, and Lisa tells him that he should never drink again, which I completely 1000% agree with. So as of right now, Mr. Jamesy Boy has lost his DJing job, waka waka, and DJ White Kanye is on a mission to find a new job. Episode 5, here we go. Tom and Katie go see their venue in Lake Tahoe. Tom already wants to elope and save lots of money, aka he doesn't want to get married. Katie tells the owner she's waited 6 years for this, and Schwartz says, if it was up to me, we would have waited another 6 years. You're a demon from the pits of hell. When your partner is clearly telling you what they need and want in their relationship and you can't provide that, then just let them move on and be. Like, stop torturing them. The venue is completely in the woods, which is beautiful, but it also gives national park, and it also is giving me bug bites. Like, all I can imagine, I don't know what it's like on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, the bugs are, they're juicy, they're ready to suckle on your blood at all times, and they're disgusting and they're awful. And there's not just like one size, there's like little tiny ones, there's medium ones, there's the black flies. Oh my god, it's horrendous. You guys, it's horrendous. It's absolutely the worst. It's absolutely the worst. So the theme Katie is looking for and that she says is called Woodsy Elegance. And honestly, I'm going to be real with you guys. Their wedding was like really pretty. And dare I say, like, kind of timeless. Like, Sheena's wedding was a wedding that you're just like, okay, like, it gave me the ick. But honestly, Tom and Katie's wedding was really, really beautiful. The event planner asks how Schwartz and Katie met, and Schwartz says, basically, like, we got drunk and had sex. I feel like that's how all Vanderpump Rules relationships get together here. Am I, like, straight or am I a little wobbly here? Are you guys going to watch out for me and make sure there's nobody standing behind me? I'd really appreciate it. Did I ever tell you guys one time I was on a live and someone said, look out, there's someone behind you. I could clearly see there was nobody behind me. It was very interesting. He also keeps embarrassing Katie with like these really rude comments and jokes and keeps kind of complaining about the wedding and the cost and like how everything's going to be. And Katie wants to have like 8 bridesmaids for the wedding venue. And Schwartz like kind of makes a joke about, you know, who's going to walk with who and how many bridesmaids can they be, and half the bridesmaids have slept with Jax, and it's just like, you're giving the ick. What do you do? Like, it's almost like he's like trying to like sabotage the wedding and like piss Katie. He like actively, like, I joke around with my husband when I can tell he wants to kind of instigate me. I call it his Cheshire cat smile. And that's what Schwartz is giving. He's giving, I want to push Katie's buttons because this is a game to me. Everybody thinks like, oh yeah, like at the time when we were watching when I was watching the show back then, it was all like, oh, you know, Schwartz, you know, needs to be given a break. Like, Katie's the one that's always angry and messy. Now that you look back and watch it now, it's like, no, he was constantly trying to piss her off. He was constantly trying to bug her, constantly trying to make her feel bad, constantly trying to rev her up. And then the second he revs her up, he goes, Bibba, calm down. Like, God, are you drunk? Like, what's going on? Like, Bubba, you're so angry all the time. Because of you, you little shit. Oh my God. So Katie wants 8 bridesmaids, and they find out that the wedding venue in total, just the venue alone, because I believe I have the actual breakdown, but the venue alone is $24,000. This is why I eloped. This is why I got married on my best friend's porch with 4 other people there, because I sure as hell was not going to pay that much money. Absolutely not. I think if you guys follow my last video or my vlogs, I've explained to you why I ended up eloping with my second husband. Sandoval complains that James is getting fired this time was complete BS. I don't agree. He should have been fired a long time ago. Like, if we're talking about everybody kind of egging him on and then he gets revved up, yeah, I understand where Sandoval's coming from on that sense. But at the end of the day, like, James is an adult. He can make his own choices. He could walk away. He could ask for security. He could go find Lisa and be like, I can't do my job if so-and-so is going to be here. But he doesn't do that. He just, like, gets revved up and egged on and then is a part of the problem. He just needs to stop. And he needs to find better ways to get out of these situations. It's hard, obviously, when you're on a TV show. It's not like it's like a regular day in life. James keeps saying him and Gigi 100% did not hook up. I 100% think that they did, like, prove me wrong. Like, literally prove me wrong. Like, you can't believe anything James says, unfortunately. Lala tells Lisa she talked to Katie and that she isn't dating a married man. But when Lisa kind of confronts her about everything that's been going on, you can tell that Lala is very, very nervous. And she's like, oh, when I'm in front of, Lisa, I just get really nervous. It's like, no, you're nervous because you're lying. You're nervous because you're a lying sack of shit. And you're pissed off and you're mad because everybody's catching you in your lies when you didn't need to tell any lies. You didn't need to say anything. You could have just kept shit to yourself. You didn't have to come in so hard. And I think Schwartz says that in the reunion. He says that she kind of came in so hard, and like rough at the beginning and like having this tough exterior. And then when, like, I don't think Lala realized how the other women have like an impenetrable exterior. Like Katie, Kristen, and Stassi, their exterior is like shields are up. Okay, Captain America. Okay, Thor's hammer. Okay, they don't give a shit. And I don't think Lala knew what she was signing up for at the time. I need to know how Schwartz makes money before Tom and Schwartz and Sandies happen. Which also, did you guys listen to Peter was on a podcast recently, and he was talking about how apparently Tom Tom is now going to be called Pump, and it's going to be taken over by Pump, and that allegedly maybe somewhere in Minecraft, Tom Tom, like their 1% essentially of the restaurant got bought out from Lisa Vanderpump, and then I guess Schwartz and Sandies has been like a ghost town. It isn't like Schwartz in Florida right now with his family or something. Like, it's all going downhill, and it's because of dipshit Sandoval, and it's literally all of his fault. So I just like, I'm trying to understand like how he made money, because like modeling in the show, and they're not making that much money on the show at that time. I don't know what ended up happening towards the end of it, but, and honestly, they should pay reality TV stars a lot more. Like, people, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm recording this at like 9 o'clock at night. I apologize. I'm 34. I go to bed early, okay? I would love to know how much money they made on the show at that time during season 5. If you guys know, put it down below, comment down below. I also would love to know how the hell he was making any money. Like, I'm dead ass serious. How is he making money? Eventually they go do a scene where they meet with a lawyer for the prenup kind of crap, and they talk about how much money's in their bank account. I'm like, I'm so confused. They must have been using credit cards for this. But also, how do you have enough credit card money for the amount of money you're spending on this wedding? Like, what type of credit cards are you getting, and how are you able to get them? You have nothing. You don't own anything. You don't have any proof of anything. Like, I'm so confused. And like, can we just be like for real right now? Like, Schwartz was not like some like supermodel. He was like a fucking Sears catalog model. Like, you truly cannot convince me otherwise. Tom says he wants to be more choosy with his modeling jobs. But again, he's sitting there doing like an underwear situation. But he's like, at the same time, I do have to make enough money, so I kind of had to take what I can get. And I'm like, choosy, what are you talking about? Can we please stop acting like you're one of like the Hadids? Like, I don't know. You're not in demand, bro. I'm so fucking confused. I've never seen your ass on a billboard that didn't have to do with Vanderpump Rules. So what are we talking about, choosy? Girl, take anything, okay? JCPenney's, Sears, the Victoria's Secret catalog. I mean, do whatever you got to do, because at this rate, like Old Navy, no hate to Old Navy. I only shop at Old Navy essentially, but bro, the jobs are not racking in here. Okay. So I don't know what you're talking about with choosy. Jack shows up late to serve for his shift, and he says he was locked out of his apartment. Him and Brittany are just constantly fighting lately. Vanderpump is pissed off and so angry at everybody, and she's just like really everybody's really going through it right now. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of hostility kind of sitting in there, simmering. Ariana and Tom go out on a date, and they talk about their future together. Ariana wants a home and does not want to get married or have kids, and says that like a house is like is a bigger commitment to her. And I guess I disagree. Like, I think kids are the ultimate commitment. I don't think marriage is that big of a commitment, because you can break a marriage anytime. Kids are forever, or as long as they're alive, and kids are always going to tie you to the person you had the child with. No matter what, no matter what, you always have some type of relationship, whether it's nothing or, everything. Even nothing, you still have like this relationship with them, even if they're not there, because they still are a part of the reason why your child is alive. So they are still kind of like always like lingering there. You know what I'm saying? So I just think kids are like they're just the ultimate commitment. I don't think you don't need to be married. You don't need to be anything. But once you have kids, you're stuck with this person forever. Like, I will forever be tied to my ex-husband for the rest of my life because we had a child together. And so you have to like make it work and figure it out. I do also appreciate Ariana being so vocal about not needing children and not needing marriage to have value in her life, and to be a good woman, or whatever the hell it is. And I think more women, honestly, should stop having babies and stop getting married, especially to men. Like, go do you, go live your life. If you're going to have babies, have them on your own. Build your own little tribe. Have them on your own. Find your gay best friend, get together, and have a kid together. Like, literally stop having babies with men, straight men. Just like literally stop. First of all, we have way too many. We have overpopulation. We don't need more people on this planet right now, like, especially in our country. Number two, being tied down to a man sounds awful, horrible. And people laugh because they're like, Sam, you're married and have children. And I'm like, yeah, but I understand that commitment. I'm fully aware of what I'm signing up for, and I'm okay with that. And I'm also with somebody who values me and I value him, and we work really hard in our relationship, the hardest I've ever worked on a relationship in my entire life, to be good to each other and be there for each other and support each other and be good parents to our children. And when I wasn't feeling that with my first partner, I ended it because I don't want to live my life with someone that doesn't value me. And if my current husband treated me that way, the same thing would happen. It is what it is, you know? But I really think more women should be like Ariana. Like, girl, just do you. If you guys never, like, who cares if you get married? Who gives a shit? The only benefit of being married in America is literally the tax write-off. Other than that, like, what is the fucking benefit? Like, what is the big deal? Why do you spend so much money on a scam? Okay, marriage is a scam, all right? You don't need to be married to be happy. It does not change anything about your relationship. People are like, oh my God, I just feel so different. No, you don't, especially if you've already lived together, if you've already been in a long-term relationship, if you already share things, if you already live life together, it's like, it's not different. Like, when my husband and I got married, we came home and we lived our normal day, like, and nothing has changed. The thing that will change you is children. Children change your marriage. Children change your relationship. Children will really show you what kind of people you really are and who your partner really, really is. So, like, children are, again, just don't have children if you're not ready to, like, I appreciate her understanding and realizing, like, that's not the type of commitment she wants to make in her life. And once you have kids, you literally are tied down to them for the rest of your life, because 95% of people in this world can't afford babysitters, nannies, you know, all this, like, help and all that, things like that. Like, you're tied down to your children. They are your every waking moment. You're thinking about them and you're trying to figure things out with them and make the best decisions with them. Like, so I think that's amazing. I think that's so, and I love that she's kept that throughout her entire life and she stood up for herself, because I feel like a lot of women succumb to, like, getting married and having children when they maybe didn't fully want that, but they did it for their partner. And I love that throughout the entire show she's just like, no, I'm all set. Lala goes on a hike with Tiffany and Ellie, and they are girls that work at the restaurant and are friends with Lala. I'm just like, okay, I don't know if I believe this. Lala says that she's allergic to sunscreen, and I need somebody to fact check that for me, because she literally is like, I'm allergic to sunscreen. I'm like, is that real? I don't feel like that's somebody fact check that for me. I need somebody to fact check it. Send me the link below, okay? Ellie tells Lala that James got fired. Lala is like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm so disappointed. Like, you know, I feel like his world's crumbling, blah, 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 blah. So then Ellie confesses, mind you, they have to get mic'd up before they have these conversations. So it's not like Ellie's, like, coming out of nowhere. Like, and she's just, like, a random chick. This conversation, there's an understanding about her being there. They don't just pull random people to have conversations with the lead cast members. So, like, keep those things in mind. So Ellie then confesses that her and James hooked up about a month ago. Again, mind you, he's with Rachel Raquel. Ellie then shows Lala a picture of Ellie laying down in bed next to James, which is slay. Okay? Slay, girl. The fact that you are so smart and know that this demon man is going to go, that never happened, that you are so intelligent. That's such a woman thing. That's such a freaking, women are just powerful. They are the ultimate, okay? Never fuck with a chick, okay? Ever. Lala asks Ellie to forward her the picture so that she can confront James about it. Let's see. So Lala wants to connect with James about it, have a whole conversation, and try to understand what the hell's going on, which is so funny because it's like she's upset that James is lying, but then James is upset that Lala's been lying, so they're just constantly lying to each other, and it's just like a shitty friendship. But it's like, dude, you two are all each other has. Like, maybe you should be nice to each other and like keep each other's secrets, okay? Tom, Stassi, Katie, Sheena, Kristen, Jackson, Ariana all go out for dinner. Jackson, Sandoval go back and forth about how Jax provokes James and that's why he got fired, and Jax learns that James got fired and he's like so excited, and he ends up calling James DJ Fuckface, which I'm sorry, that was really funny. Like, not nice to James, but like DJ Fuckface, that's hilarious. Jax tells all the girls that James got fired, and Kristen is so happy. Like, literally, you would have thought that Kristen literally did a bump off of someone's arm. She went from here to here. She was so happy. She was beaming, running around, just being like so happy. Again, typical Kristen. And says that Tommy and Ariana defend James way too much. Need to stop doing that. Kristen confronts Ariana about defending James, and Ariana says Kristen is as bad as James, and that Kristen is a hypocrite for hating on James so much when she's just as bad as him. Ariana tells and of course Kristen is like, no, how can you say that? How can you say that about me? Like, I'm nothing like him. And then cut to, again, the editors. Here's a little secret, okay? The editors hate Kristen Doty and they hate Jax Taylor. Why do I know this? Because they love a cut to. Anytime they can have a cut to, they can have a cut off to the side and show you all the ways that those demons are hypocritical. They're going to do it. They're going to archive every single piece of fucking footage. I guarantee you they probably have just like a log. Like, when they're watching the TV, when they're watching the show, they just log Kristen, log Jax, and then they just log the date and the time and what the hell it was about, so they can have this massive folder they can always go back to and show you what hypocrites those idiots are. Ariana and Sheena are talking to each other at a table, and Ariana tells Sheena about Ellie and James, and Ariana says she knew that Ellie and James had hooked up, but she had thought it was before Raquel, but allegedly it's not. So we find out also that Ellie is 34 at the time and James is 24, so they're 10 years apart. And Sheena brought up some funny point about like, why do all these girls want to hook up with James when they all know something bad's gonna come out of it? And it's like, why at the time, like, James is attractive, okay? Not hating, okay? He's a little bulked up, he's looking a little handsome. He's not my type of guy, but like, he's not bad looking. You guys, he was a pole. He was a thin little pole, like withering in the wind, okay? So the fact that all these women, all age groups, clearly, from 20s to mid to late 30s, wanted to bone this kid, never understanding why that's a thing. So timeline. Ellie and James slept together in March. Remember, Raquel, James, January, okay? And during the time of fellatio, James tells Ellie, this is while they're boning, this means nothing. Says to him, while inserted, this that we're doing right now, okay, the bedroom tango, the extra hug and kisses, you're looking down at this person, up at this person. I don't know what they're doing, but like, they're looking behind and you're looking at them. I don't know, whatever. You're upside down for all I care. And you have the balls to say, this means nothing. Is this supposed to turn me on? You sick fuck. That's so gross. So Ellie knew right then and there that she needed to have proof that she had hooked up with him, because she knew that he was going to lie about it. And again, women are geniuses. Women in STEM, am I right? Katie and Schwartz go to look for LVP's summer car, which rich people, summer cars, they go to Porsche. Schwartz says if they don't have a wedding, they could buy a Porsche. And Katie's mad because Schwartz continues with the wedding comments about, oh, we don't need to have a wedding. We could do this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, give it up. Just give up. If you don't want to have a wedding, guess what? Don't be with Katie. Because if you're going to be with Katie, you're going to have a wedding because she wants to marry you. Why? None of us know. But we do know that she does want to. Katie continues to ask Schwartz just to listen to her and says, and they kind of go back and forth and are arguing about everything and like how he just doesn't listen to her, doesn't want to understand her, doesn't want to see her side. And I agree that I don't think that he needs to agree with everything that she says. The fact of the matter is that he does not listen to her and will literally do the opposite of what she's asking, and won't even just as simple, I think I said it in the last video, won't even just simply go, you know what, I see where you're coming from. That's not maybe how I would approach it. If you want my advice, I'm happy to give it to you. But I mean, I understand where your frustration is coming from, and I understand why you're upset. But, if you want any help or support, I'm here to help you. I think the best thing to do is just do whatever is good for you and isn't going to get you in trouble or isn't going to give you added stress in your life, because it's just not worth it. Why is that so easy for me to say that, but adult man Schwartz in his mid-30s couldn't fucking do that? I'm telling you, this man loved, it was a sport to piss Katie off. I think he enjoyed it. I'm not even fucking kidding you. So they drive in the Porsche, and then they drive back, and she's all pissed off, and he's acting like an asshole. And then she gets out of the car, walks off, and she says, well, let's talk about how your dick doesn't work, and storms back into the dealership, which is, again, iconic. And now that I'm looking forward, there might be a problem. That, or like, he literally is what is it called when like people are not sexual? He might be in that department. Like, just isn't, like, I would love to ask, could someone go on disrespectfully and ask Katie Maloney this? I'll ask her. I'll be famous for a second. Like, genuinely, how often did those two people have sex? Or not even penetrative sex, sexual interactions. How often did that happen? Because it never felt to me like they were those types of people that had sex. And it genuinely felt like Katie didn't care, which is just proves to you how much she loves him, because I actually feel like Katie's a pretty sexual person, but she loved him so much she kind of didn't care. I almost wonder sometimes if it would have been better if her and Schwartz like stayed together, but like she got to have like a little side piece to kind of bone or whatever. I feel like he might have been okay with that, to be honest with you. Because for God's sakes, they went on their honeymoon and Stassi was there. Clearly he didn't give a shit. Sheena goes to Kristen to meet up with Kristen and Stassi to spill about the Ellie tea. So according to Stassi, Randall's ex, who we now know is Amber, found out about Lala through like sex and like dirty videos and stuff like that. Lala goes to meet up with James and asks about Ellie. James said him and Ellie never hooked up and that the photos are completely faked and that someone could have, doctored them or whatever. And it's like, when was this made? What season was this, you guys? Like 2016, 2017 or some shit like that. It's like, that's not going on. Like, cut the crap. Like, that's not happening. It is a real photo. It 1000% happened. Like, he's like, oh no, that didn't happen, because they hooked up before he was with Rachel. So like, he's basically being like, no, this is actually from then. This is not actually from like March. That never happened. And it's like, girl. Clearly also like people, obviously love to give, what's his face, love to give James a lot of shit. But I genuinely do think these women did want to get on this show, and they knew James was like the easiest one to penetrate the group to be on the show. James gets mad at Lala for even bringing it up. Lala says she hears a lot about James and says nothing about all the things that she hears. James says that the same exact thing, but back to Lala, and James doesn't understand why Lala has to be so secretive all the time. And again, we just go back in circle. We just go in circles with James and Lala of like, no, I didn't bone all these chicks while I had a girlfriend. No, I don't have a married boyfriend. No, I didn't bone all these chicks. No, I don't have a married boyfriend. Like, it's just like a never ending cycle of stupidity that we're listening to. Episode 6. So this is the Pride episode. So this episode is actually really, really sad because of what transpires over this episode. So, episode 6, Pride. Okay, so staff comes into SUR to try on their Pride outfits. And... oh, God. James is allowed to be at the restaurant. James is not allowed to be at the restaurants or DJing for Pride for any of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants. Ariana tries on outfits, and Jax, in his confessional, says that She has an amazing ass, and he wishes that he hooked up with Ariana instead of Kristen. So if you're over here sitting here picking away at which one of your best friend's girlfriends you want to bone instead, and the way that he says it is so sleazy and slimy, he's just like, oh, she's got a great ass, and then kind of like stares off and like thinks about it, and then is like, I should have fucked Ariana instead of Kristen. It's like, so you've thought about this. You're sick in the head. Lala says that she can't try anything on because she's not wearing any underwear. She's going commando. And it's like, girl's doing too much. We're doing way, like, girl, if you don't want people to think certain things about you or talk about you in a certain way, then don't behave a certain way. Like, that's the thing that always pisses me off about Lala. Sandoval is upset that Ariana is doing this cocktail book without him. And apparently bartending is Tom's passion. And we meet so that starts becoming an issue between him and Ariana, is the cocktail book and him trying to stick his nose in it, him trying to get involved in it, and allegedly everybody else being like, oh my god, Tom should have it. It doesn't make sense that Ariana would. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And this is the first time we see a little tear. And it cracks me up because people will be like, Ariana and like Tom were never like real on camera. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, they didn't show their entire relationship. Did any of you? Like, if you guys didn't cheat on each other and were complete assholes and just in a happy relationship, how much drama would you guys actually show? But they did. They showed moments in their relationship that were torn apart. And this is one of those seasons where we really started like peeling back layers of their relationship. So this is when we meet the Workish twins at SUR, and they are having lunch with Stassi. And this is how we officially enter into the summer house era. And this is Lauren and Ashley. And I think they're literally only on summer house for one season. So the twins decide that they want to invite Stassi, Kristen, Katie, and Scheana to the Hamptons for Stassi's birthday, which is June 24th. It's my birthday, okay? Scheana and Kristen know nothing about Montauk or the Hamptons, and Scheana thinks that it's a rich person's beach at the East Coast that all the East Coasters go to, which pretty much, like, it's straight white people living their best fantasy. You know, Donald Trump's vacation there before. Ariana is putting together promo videos for her cocktail book with her business partner at SUR. Ariana is very excited, but Sandoval is there and is telling everyone what to do, which is like the biggest ick ever. He's not there to support. He's not there to like be there to help out in any way that he can. He's trying to make this his own thing. And I really wish that Ariana, I'm sure like the producers had some say in it or whatever, but I really do wish that Ariana would have been like, no, you're not coming with me. She knows he's a ding-a-ling. He then says, well, if the publishers, the publishers that are trying, she's doing this so that way she can give it to publishers and hopefully they'll want to buy the book. He's like, oh, if your publisher's female, maybe I can do this. And then proceeds to pull his pants down in front of her business partner. And you can tell they're both like, you're fucking gross and we hate your guts. No one's laughing. No one thinks that's funny. It's the biggest ick ever. And he is the biggest loser ever. Tom keeps finding ways to inject himself into the shoot. He says in his confessional that he doesn't think Ariana knows what hard work actually is. Rich coming from you, Mr. Bartender, Mr. Restaurateur, Mr. Sit on my ass and do nothing, Mr. Get all drugged up and drunk up in my home with my girlfriend who used to bang Leonardo DiCaprio. Shut up. Ariana knows Tom is extremely jealous and wants this to be about him. He even says the drinks aren't even that good and he could have made them a lot better. He's genuinely the worst ever. Ariana wants to do a birthday trip the same weekend that Stassi is going to be doing hers at the Hamptons, and Scheana is very confused because Ariana didn't even ask her. Which, girl, we're not confused. Why the hell would she invite you? You are with the Public Enemy group, okay? You're with the Witches of WeHo. You're not on the cool girl side, Lala asks if the girls are going to be flying private to the Hamptons, and Lala says she doesn't like flying with other people. She only flies first class, which, girl, listen, Katie's a hater at the time, but it's like, girl, all of us would be flying first class if we could. So, like, sitting there being like a hater and being like all negative about it, it's like, you would too. Don't act like you wouldn't. Lala has lunch with Ariana and Sandoval brings up the boyfriend rumors to Lala, and she says again she didn't break any marriages up and that the girls just want to like cause issues and problems, but they never show proof, which I actually found really interesting. And the one time when I was like, Lala, you're a genius. that they never show proof of this. So why are we believing them? Because if they had proof, wouldn't you think they would show it? And I'm like, that's kind of fucking genius, Lala. Why didn't you run with that? Lala won't say his name on camera, or to them, but she does want them to come to an NFL game to watch them. And I'm kind of wondering what team it was. It must have been I'm assuming either the Chargers, the Rams, or at the time the Raiders. One of those teams maybe. But then that makes me wonder if this was the NFL guy that she was allegedly dating too. I had a lot of questions. Again, if anybody has a timeline of Lala's whereabouts of these times, I would appreciate with which man. Ariana brings up the cocktail book at the table and says that Tom is not going to pull the attention away from her. She tells him to stop rolling his eyes and that he's a little bitch and a bitter Betty, which is fucking hilarious. And it's kind of refreshing to see someone put him in his place. Ariana says she's been bartending for 10 plus years at really great establishments, but Tom says that she has a reputation of being a grumpy cat. And again, I'm not sure why you're trying to tear your partner down and why you're trying to make it about you, which is all this man ever fucking does, is make everything about him, instead of supporting her, loving her, and wanting to be there with her. And of course, we find out in the reunion that little dipshit found his way into the cocktail book and they're doing it together. I wish at the time Ariana had a fucking backbone because it's annoying. So we get to the Pride Parade. Lisa is supposed to be leading the parade at the for the float. This happens to be the year that the Orlando nightclub shooting happened. The night before, where 50 people passed away that day. And it is so unbelievably sad because this show is in WeHo. Like, it's the gay mecca, okay, of LA, where the queer community goes all and hangs out, and I would hope feels safe and sound. And the fact that had happened to someone in their community and 50 people passed away from that shooting, that is absolutely heinous and insane. And Lisa isn't really sure if they should even continue to do the parade or not, or if they should even have the restaurants open. Like, she's just trying to figure out like what is the best for the community and the group. Katie is scared and anxious and doesn't want to work her shift. And she meets back up at her place with Stassi and both of the Toms. Jax doesn't want to come in either, but him and Brittany end up going in and working. Lala decides to not work either and says that her mom told her that she needed to stay home. I'm like, okay, listen, what are we, 15 years old? Like, I get it, but also like, stop. The cops ended up finding somebody in Santa Monica that had weapons on them. And so they think that there was another plan to have another type of shooting situation in Santa Monica area. So that is definitely something that everybody was very, very scared and concerned about. Schwartz mentions that he is extremely proud to live in West Hollywood and does want to go out and support that community because they constantly are showing up for them and the cast and the restaurants and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, Schwartz, the one redeeming quality you have is that you love the gays. Okay, thank God for that. Tom, Ariana, Jackson, Brittany, they all end up coming to Sir and working. Tom and Ariana go out back and talk over about them fighting with the cocktail book. They agree that the fight was stupid and that clearly the situation that's going on with what happened, that there are way worse things going on, and that fighting over a cocktail book is like just pointless and stupid and they shouldn't be doing that. And I agree with them completely. Lala goes to visit James and confesses that her boyfriend broke up with her, and she's like ultra sensitive right now. And it's just one of those situations where it's like, read the room, bitch. Like, I understand a breakup sucks and that's not fun, but the fact that you're making this all about you when 50 people's lives, and I'm going to assume more people were wounded too, lives are over, and this is a hate crime, and that's what the episode is about. It's like, I'm really sensitive right now. It's like, I think there's 50 people whose families are a little bit more sensitive than you today because your boyfriend broke up with you. Like, read the room, literally. Ken and Lisa come into Sir and have a touching moment with Tom and Jax. and how Lisa is a badass for staying open and giving a space for the community to come and party and hang out. And I thought that was like a really, really touching moment. And, you know, for all of Lisa Vanderpump's flaws, one thing that she's continued to do is show up for the queer community over and over and over again. And she's like one of the first housewives that really that was like a big deal to her, is to stand up for that community. I will say the one thing I always found so weird, and again, I totally understand that like people have to be willing to be on the show, number one. Number two, like you can't force certain groups of people to be on the show just to like meet quota essentially or whatever. But I did always kind of find it weird that like there was really no queer representation on Vanderpump Rules when they're literally located in the middle of damn WeHo. Again, like the queerest community ever in that area. And for a while, we didn't know that Lala and Ariana were bisexual. And then, so essentially there were 0 queer people on the show. And then Billie Lee came on, and Billie Lee is just a train wreck. Like, love the trans community, love the queer people, love it all. A train wreck's a train wreck, no matter what you identify as. Sorry, it just is what it is. And so that was rough. And then Ariana came out as bisexual, which was amazing and wonderful. Lala, I think, has come out as bisexual as well, possibly, unless she's been having like little moments, but she's actually straight. I don't know. Fact check me on that one. I'm totally fine with being fact checked on that. But I just always found it so interesting that like there was always gay besties in the background or hanging around, but there's no, like, you look at Brittany's best friend on the Valley, and he's like a gay man, and you see him in the background at the Jax's roast. So it's just so funny to me. It's like they couldn't, out of all of these people's friends, they couldn't have added like a couple gays in there, like as like background friends or something. I just found that always so interesting that they never really had like full out blown gay, queer, loving, living people on that show. Truly, really, other than Billie Lee. I always found that to be so fascinating to me. All right, so episode 7. Ariana gets tickets to NASCAR in Sonoma for her birthday, and that's what she wants to go do. It's interesting to me how Katie is constantly upset at Scheana, but is never upset at Brittany for talking to Lala and possibly going to Sonoma with Lala. I found that really fascinating. When I rewatched that back, I'm like, wow, it's so fascinating that like Katie's always giving shit to Scheana about the Lala situation, but literally there was a chance that Brittany and Lala were going to literally be in this like tiny quarters together, and she's not upset about that. Like, I understand like her and Brittany aren't besties or whatever, but still I'm kind of just like, but you're not mad at her? Like, it gets to a point where it very much feels pointed directly at Scheana and Scheana only. Stassi starts up her Straight Up with Stassi podcast, which she still has to this day, I believe. She asked permission from Brittany if she can interview Jax, which is hilarious. Brittany says that Jax has changed and is now reformed. Cut to season 6, girl. Because he's not reformed in any way, shape, or fucking form. LVB suggests that Ariana should get Lala and Katie together with Scheana and kind of force a conversation, essentially. Lala apparently tweeted that she wants to bone Schwartz after him and Katie get divorced, which I think I already talked about. Ariana has Scheana, Katie, and Lala come outside of SUR and kind of have a little sit-down chat between the 4 of them. Katie won't let up, and Lala asks if Lala needs to finger Katie in order for her to just move on and get over it. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, girl, we're doing way too much. We need to just take a chill pill, and we need to let, like, I don't want to, like, I hope this makes sense. It would have been better if Lala would have just played dead dog, essentially, and just laid there and taken it and said, I'm sorry, came off calm, had a calm presence about her, and then let Katie look fucking bad and like a bitch. That would have been the better move to do. But Lala's not going to do that because Lala is just as stubborn as Katie is and has this whole like gangster attitude, but also like, I'm going to weep in the corner and cry and like cry wolf. I felt all the time too. it's constant back and forth with her. But literally all she should have done is just been like, you know what, Katie, you're right. I made really horrible choices. I apologize. I'm so sorry. You know, I will stop having these conversations about you and saying these horrible things about you if you just please, like, if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone, essentially. And everything that I said, and specifically everything that I said, was wrong and inappropriate. You know, I know my relationship is a big mystery, but, you know, clearly you and I are not close. We're not friends. So I don't really feel like I owe you an explanation as to my relationship. So if you could just lean off of that, I would appreciate it. And I will lean off of you and stop criticizing you and stop calling you names and stop talking about you and your, you know, future husband. And let's just like move on. And all I can do is just show you that I will not be an added issue in your life. And just see what that goes. And if Katie's kind of like, you know, fuck you, you're dating a married man, then you can go, okay, like, Katie, I said what I said. I said I'm going to change. And whether you accept this apology or not, I am no longer moving forward going to be talking about you anymore. So it's all on you now if you want to continue this, because I'm not a part of it anymore. But again, why am I smarter? And why are these people stupid? I don't know. I'm just so gifted. Sheena decides that she's going to apologize and says she's sorry for anything that she said that was not true. AKA, she thinks everything she said is true. Therefore, she's not sorry. She kind of like wordsmithed her way out of that. And Katie is literally like shook to her core. She says she will just move on and be cordial. Katie thinks that apology is complete BS and is mad, and Sheena and rage texts her that night. Stassi rage texts Sheena about her not supporting Katie, and it's just this non-ongoing like paragraphs of rage texts, which has to be so shocking and so difficult to deal with. Brittany is worried about Jax doing Stassi's podcast and that Jax still has a crush on Stassi, which I think he does. And then Jax compares his relationship with Stassi to the movie Misery, which I would not disagree with that. Sheena goes to Brittany and Jax's apartment and tells them about her convo with Katie and Lala, and how Katie likes to get drunk and rage text all the time. And do we truly think Tom and Katie's wedding wasn't paid for by Bravo is the note that I just put there. I don't know why I put that right after that. But Jax is basically like, yeah, like they literally have a hive mind. And if one of them gets pissed off, all three of them are pissed off, and you're going to get a fucking ton of messages from all three of them because they cannot help themselves. Stassi and Kristen go over to Katie's to discuss the convo with Ariana and Lala. Stassi is very defensive of Katie, and Sheena feels like she can't have any opinions against that group of girls. And she really can't, honestly. Basically Sheena just should have been like a nun and a mute for this entire time that Katie was getting married, and then just kind of like nodded a lot, and then I think she would have been fine. She should have just quit her job at SUR and moved over to Pump for the time being until the wedding was over, and then she can and then she can go back. That's what she should have done. Because basically if she even blinked, even breathed oxygen near Lala, she was fucked either way. Like literally completely screwed out of everything. Stassi and Jack do her podcast at this like random bar. They're just at a random bar doing a podcast, and she has like a little setup going on. It looks like an e-meter, like for ghost hunting or some shit like that. Jack tells Stassi about his conversation with Sheena, and it's so funny because everything that like they kind of talked about, he's the one that said all the things about how like they have a hive mind and they all think like together and they're always up people's asses. He literally flips everything that he says and flips it onto Sheena and says that Sheena said all of that, when that's literally not what happened. Again, you're on camera, bro. Jack tells Stassi he cheats because he doesn't feel appreciated and wants to make sure that he's still got it, aka season 6. Because I didn't make you a sandwich, you're gonna cheat on me. And when he does, boy does he. I literally might review season 6 sitting next to my mother, because season 6 is one of the most unhinged, insane chunks of television from the Vanderpump Rules cinematic universe. Stassi makes Jax take a sociopath test, and shocker, it comes up that he's a sociopath, which no one's shocked by. Kristen and Sheena have a surprise birthday party planned for Shay and Carter. Sheena doesn't want to hash really anything out with Katie at the birthday party, ... That's gonna happen whether she likes it or not. Everyone shows up at the B-Day party to surprise them. Oh, I have a new subscriber. Cute. Everyone shows up to the party to surprise Shay and Carter. Sheena wants to be a bridesmaid so bad to the point that she feels like if she does not go to Stassi's birthday, that she will be booted from bridesmaid group committee activities and events, which literally she's not involved in anything because they keep her out of all the group texts because they're assholes. Sheena talks to Ariana and Tom about their birthday, and they tell her that she cannot come no matter what happens because they already have tickets and everything's very like VIP, and they have to put people's specific names down and stuff. And so no matter what happens with the group of girls and their friendship, she cannot go to Sonoma with them. Stassi tries to come over and talk to Sheena, and Stassi is so extremely drunk, and she admits it later in the reunion episodes about how she was like hammered out of her mind, and talking at that point was really a stupid idea, honestly. And she's very upset, and you can tell that Stassi's defensiveness comes from she lost Katie's friendship for a good chunk of time, that she doesn't want to lose it again. So I feel like she's just bowing down to Katie. Essentially, Stassi's afraid of Katie, okay? And she wants Sheena to have more of a backbone, and when it comes to the Lala situation. And then Sheena, they kind of go back and forth about she said, and Sheena's just like, hold on, let's have Ariana come over because she was actually there with me and Katie and Lala. And Sheena thinks Stassi wasn't there, so she doesn't really know the whole story. Stassi says Sheena wants Lala and Katie to be friends, but that literally was never said. That conversation never happened. So I'm not sure why. Well, I am sure why. She's drunk. That is why. All Sheena wants is for everybody just to be cordial and to stop all the gossiping and all that crap. Because I think Sheena usually likes the gossipy, she likes the tea, she likes the drama, but I think she likes Kristen and Jax's version of tea and drama, where like they're still gonna be friends no matter what, and they can talk as much shit as they want, but they'll still all be friends, and like nothing really will be too big of a blowback onto Sheena. Whereas like Stassi and Kristen and Katie's type of tea and gossip, they will literally like cut Sheena wide open and rip her jugular out. There's a lot more blowback when the three of them get together versus when Jax and Kristen get together. Ariana says Stassi is way too over emotional and won't let anybody talk. So Stassi gets super pissed off and just storms off. And Stassi runs inside to the bathroom and starts panic crying on the floor. And it was like, what's going on? And she's like literally hyperventilating, sitting on the linoleum, weeping drunk. It was hey girl, too much. It was too much drama. Ariana was right. It's like, girl, calm down. And you could tell Ariana's drunk too, but it's just like, it was just too much. It was so much drama. It was so stupid. And Sheena was just like, this is not what I wanted at Shay's birthday party, obviously. And Sheena comes inside to talk to Stassi, and Stassi and Katie kind of basically go into attack mode. And they tell Sheena to stop being a bitch and trying to get everybody to like her. Sheena says the last 6 months, Katie has been very angry and she wants to know why, and she's so unhappy. And I think it's really interesting that Sheena is asking the questions that Schwartz should be asking. Like, Sheena's trying to be like, what's going on? What's wrong? Like, how can I help you? Like, the last 6 months, you've just been a different person. You've been rage texting. Like, something clearly is off. And wants to help and support, but clearly Schwartz should be asking those questions in a kind, like the way that Sheena was coming off, she was coming off very kind and loving and caring, and just wants to be there for her friend, because I genuinely think she really loved Katie as a friend, like and valued their friendship a lot. Katie says, I can read you like a fucking book. I can read you like a fucking book. And it's like, then why are you friends with me, bro? Then why the fuck are you friends with me? Please answer that. All right. Next episode is episode 8. We meet Katie's mom and grandma, and we learn more about the party, the wedding party, and the wedding and the events and costs and money and all this kind of stuff. And crazy things start happening at James' DJing bits, where all the lovers and girlfriends and ex-girlfriends show up in one area. It's a whole thing, okay? So, but I am gonna pause it here, and we'll move on. We'll move on next time. I won't make like a jump cut this time. I will like genuinely just tell you, hey guys, because I have to record on my phone right now, and I know for a fact that like an hour and like 20 minutes or so ish, it's gonna stop the video like it did last time. So we're gonna end it here, okay? So I'll talk to you guys next time. I love you so much. Please go like, please go subscribe, please do all the things, okay? Share it, comment, do it, everything. The algorithm needs your help, okay? Tell all of your friends about all the recap episodes. Tell them to go watch. I have a whole list and everything. It's great. I have a whole playlist. Go check it out. And as I always say, or I try to say in all of my videos, please go support small LGBTQIA businesses. The girlies need all of our help and all the support. Okay? The world is trying to take them down, and I won't let it happen. Okay? I love you guys. And I hope you have a great day. Your ass is delicious and wonderful. Mwah.